going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hills Are Silent podcast, where we chop it up about the games of yesterday, today, tomorrow. We were out last week. We're back. It's all good. I went on vacation. Mitch, I think, was sick during that time as well. Hopefully you've recovered completely. How you feeling?
Yep. Feeling a lot better now, yeah. Last week was rough. I could barely talk anyway, so if we tried to record, it would not have worked out well.
Okay, that explains it. I feel like your voice sounds a little hoarse right now, so glad you got your voice back.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, got a lot of stuff to talk about. I've been playing an awesome game that I am very stoked to discuss, and that game is Binary Domain. Have you heard of this?
No, but I saw you playing it, I think, on Steam, and so I went and looked it up because I was curious about it.
Okay. Did you notice who developed it?
No, did not pay that close attention, actually.
All right. Yeah, I got a lot to cover. This game is awesome. I've had this game in my Steam library. This game came out in 2012. It was released on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PC. I have it both in my Steam library, and I have an Xbox 360 copy, which, if I remember correctly, I paid like $3 for the game. On both platforms. I think it's on sale right now for $3 on Steam, and I think that's what I paid for it. And then on Xbox 360, I picked it up for like $3 a couple years ago, and I had my eye on it for the longest time, and I finally dove in. Right off the bat, it was a hassle to get running. So I was on vacation in Gulf Shores this past week. Great time. The beach was beautiful. But definitely, when I was not on the beach, I was at the beach house wanting to play some games. I borrowed my fiance's laptop and installed Binary Domain. It has controller support, but it's really janky, and it does not work with the new Xbox One controllers without a little fiddling around with to get it to work. So basically what you have to do is you cannot launch the game from Steam. You have to literally navigate through your folders on your computer and actually launch the .exe of the game. And then after it launches, then you turn on your controller, and then it will work fine. But if you already have your controller running and you try to launch it from Steam, the button mapping will be all out of whack. And while I was playing this game, it wasn't running very well. And I'm like, man, this game came out in 2012. I mean, I was getting like decent frame rates, but sometimes it would drop if there was a lot going on on the screen. I'm like, what is going on here? This laptop should be more than enough to handle this old game. And finally, I figured it out. The game was defaulting to the onboard graphics on the CPU, and it wasn't actually using the graphics card, which leads me to say two things. First of all, it's impressive that the onboard graphics were running this game as well as they were to make me think that it was the graphics card just not doing a very good job with it. And second of all, again, I had to do a bunch of like weird tweaks that I found in the Steam discussion posts to actually get this to run on the actual graphics card of the laptop. And when I finally did, I mean, it ran buttery smooth, and it was much better experience. But yeah, it's just crazy to think that nowadays, like we take our onboard graphics for granted. Like, I'm not using my onboard graphics on any of my computers. Like, everything's going through my graphics card. But it's quite impressive that just an off-the-shelf CPU today can run games from like 10 years ago at 1080p and like decent frame rates. Because back then in 2012, to be able to run the games as well as this onboard graphics is running it, you would have been spending like $500 on a dedicated graphics card, and now that's just built into the CPU.
Right.
So yeah, if you were just like a casual gamer who just wanted to play stuff from like 2012 and before, you can play pretty much all of it just on some onboard graphics on a laptop CPU nonetheless. This wasn't even a desktop one. So anyway, back to the topic. After all that hassle, I finally got it running. And why I asked you if you paid attention to who the developer was, which for some reason on Steam it says the developer is Devil's Details. Maybe they did the PC port or something, but it's actually what is it? What's the studio that does the Yakuza Like a Dragon series?
Oh my gosh. Yes, Yakuza Like a Dragon. God, we just talked the whole episode. Well, it's Sega, obviously, but then it's as the publisher, but then Ryuga Gotoku Studio.
Yes, they made Binary Domain.
Okay, very cool.
So, I mean, they've made so many Yakuza games, and apparently they took a small break from that and then made this cover-based third-person shooter. And yes, it's yet another Gears of War clone, but so many games were around this time. And so, yeah, if you've played Gears of War, this will be so easy to transition to. Same button layout, same using the A button to run and take cover and all that stuff. But it's essentially like a Terminator game without the Terminator license. So the story is actually really good. So it takes place in the future where the Earth has flooded and countries have used robot labor to rebuild the world basically above the water level so that people can survive. And not only are they using the robots for labor force, but of course they're using it for their armies and their police and all that stuff. So you play as a squad of soldiers from different countries. The main characters from the US. Actually, the main two characters are from the US. And then you've got, I believe, a British soldier, a Chinese soldier, a French soldier, and I don't know, I forget what the other one's from. And you're in a covert operation to infiltrate Japan because they're supposedly one of the smartest robot inventors there, you suspect is behind the creation of these hollow children, which are robots that look exactly like humans, which is basically illegal. Like every country came together and said, we're not going to do this. And the creepy part is these hollow children don't even know they're robots. So there's these really unsettling scenes of you coming across these hollow children and them like not realizing they're robots. So they'll have like half their face torn off showing the robot skull, and they'll be like, why is everybody looking at me? What is going on? Like it's
oh man,
it is very disturbing. So that's really cool. And other than that, the robots do look kind of similar to the Terminator robots. Like you can totally tell they wanted to make like a Terminator game, but kind of make it their own in a sense, but it's heavily influenced by that. But it's so much fun. You stay in a squad, but unfortunately the game does not actually have co-op, which really surprises me because the way the game's made with your squad mates, and you can command them, and it has technology to where you can command your soldiers and respond to conversations with an actual microphone. But again, unfortunately, this game doesn't run all that well, and I had audio issues as well, so I just ended up disabling the microphone function, and you can just as easily use the controller to respond to stuff as well. But it does have like a co-op horde mode, and I think some other multiplayer modes, but this really would have been like a top-notch, full-on co-op campaign experience had they added that. But it's non-stop action. The robots are really fun to kill. The guns are great. And the robots, like, they get destroyed as you shoot them. There's constantly, like, chunks flying off of them. You can blow off their limbs, and they will continue to attack you. And they're, like, relentless until you completely destroy these robots. But definitely something I recommend to everybody, especially with how cheap it is. Like, you're going to have fun with this game. But unfortunately, it didn't sell well, so no sequel ever came out, and my only regret is I didn't jump into this game sooner.
Yeah, you really sold me. It sounds interesting. For $3, might be Might be a good pickup for me. I was watching some of the gameplay from the Steam videos and whatnot, and it did look interesting. It would definitely remind me of that Gears of War style that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, so many third-person shooters were made during like the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 era.
A lot of
Some of them
cover
better than
shooters.
others, but this is definitely a good one.
Nice.
But anyway, that's what I've been playing. It's pretty long too. I think the campaign's about 12 hours, and I'm probably a little more than halfway through it. But what have you been up to lately? What have you been playing?
Yeah, I have been playing the 2019 action adventure game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is the first game in the Star Wars Jedi series developed by Respawn Entertainment, which we are very familiar with since they are the developers of both Titanfall and Apex Legends, the very popular battle royale. So they have a really good track record, and I really trusted. I mean, once I heard that they were the ones that were going to be making the Star Wars game, I knew it was going to be good because they put a lot of care into these games, and they're the one EA developer that I think can actually nail things. Because I mean, as we've seen with the Star Wars series, EA has not always done a great job with it. I'm talking to you, Star Wars Battlefront, because they pretty much ruined that series for me, which was a very good nostalgia one back on PlayStation 2. Are you a Star Wars fan at all, Mike?
Casually. I mean, the first three movies I liked. The prequels were okay. I think I only really liked the very last one of the prequels. And then the newer movies, I think I saw the first two, and I haven't seen. There's a couple of them I haven't seen, and then the TV shows I don't really follow. But yeah, I typically love the games, love the lore, but I wouldn't call myself a diehard Star Wars fans by any means.
Yeah, and I'm a very casual fan. I've not seen a lot of the movies, to be honest with you. So me going into this game, I was kind of I was shocked how much I enjoyed it, but I had heard so many good things from people, and then Jedi Survivor just came out recently, so I was like, oh, Jedi Fallen Order is on Game Pass. It's one that I'll give it a try and see if I like it. And I burned through it pretty quick, and it combines multiple things that I don't super care for in the video game aspect because it is kind of operates as almost a Souls game, a Soulsborne
Yeah, I've heard
like.
that.
It's a light version of that,
Okay.
but it is pretty demanding for a few reasons. So the combat is not easy. It is very much you can't just button mash and take out people. You will get your butt kicked if you are not trying to block or dodge or whatnot. And that happens a lot. I died a lot. I did die a lot in the game. I wasn't very, very good at the start, but once you start building up more powers and getting more skill points towards either like your force points, or like you can get more health, more stim packs so that you can stay alive longer when you're getting the crap beat out of you. It does get a little easier. I will say the one thing that annoyed me, and I bet it would annoy you, is every time you hit a save point, or like it's like these little like meditation circles that you just sit and meditate, and that's where you can heal. You can get all your stim packs back, because once you run out of stim packs, you can't get any more unless you run into another one of those meditation circles. But when that happens, every enemy respawns. So anybody that you've killed prior to that respawns. I mean, it's not always an issue because a lot of times you're moving forward, so anybody that respawns is behind you and you're fine. But if you need to backtrack for anything, you have to go through all those enemies again, and typically you have to backtrack back to your ship after you complete the mission. So a little annoying in that aspect. A little annoying sometimes when those meditation circles are where you save as well. So there were times where I would like run into like a boss fight versus somebody, and I would get my ass kicked, and then I would have to spawn kind of far back and have to go through some platforming aspects of the game and then get back to the boss fight that I had struggled on. And I didn't like that because I just wanted to spawn, go into the boss fight again, and then keep trying to learn that boss's mechanics so that I could finally figure him out and beat him. So that was a little annoying at times, but overall, just a really good, really solid world they created. The combat is really smooth for which it needs to be with those Soulsborne type games. Messing around with the lightsaber and getting more power-ups as you go along. As you go along the game, like your obviously your Jedi gets more powerful. You can do things like force push, force pulls, little things like if you can block, like if they're shooting little like laser guns at you, you can if you time the block well enough, you can shoot it back at them. A lot of other like combos that you can unlock as you get more points as well. You could freeze them too, or like make them so they're moving in slow motion, which helps you as well. If you're like if they're gonna do a big attack on you, you can hit them with that pause, and so a lot of cool stuff like that. A lot of cool customization. You can customize your lightsaber. You can customize a little beady robot guy who's kind of your companion throughout the game, and his skins. You can customize your ship skins. The character you are, he gets like a poncho that you can change. You find little boxes and they all have cosmetics in them along the way. So it's kind of fun to like check out those cosmetics when I'd unlock one and then switch it up. Really good dialogue, really interesting story. I don't know a ton about the Star Wars lore, so I mean I think people that are really big Star Wars fans probably had some little bit of Easter eggs from certain things, but yeah, just an overall really solid game. It's not a genre I'm usually into. It's not a property that I enjoy particularly, but I really enjoyed this game. Nice. So, I mean, if that says anything about it, I mean, that's a really good selling point.
Yeah. So I got a couple questions. How long would you say it took you to beat the campaign?
Oh man, I knew you were gonna ask that, and then I always make it in my mind to go look. I'm going to cheat. It says how long to... I want to say it was probably 15 hours, maybe.
Okay. All right. For some reason, I had it in my mind that this was like a 50-hour game.
So on howlongtobeats.com or whatever the heck they call it, it says around 17 hours. So which I think around, that's probably the sweet where I hit to, 17 to 20 hours.
Good. It's not so crazy. Yeah, because as soon as I hear like Souls-like or Soulsborne-like, I immediately think, oh my God, this is going to take 50, 60 plus hours to beat. So
what? Good.
I was going to say it definitely sounds like it has a lot in common with Dark Souls and all those other games. So question, a lot of those games, the maps kind of loop in on themselves. Is this a linear game, or is it like a map where you are constantly coming back to the same areas, or realizing it loops back to previous areas?
Kind of. So it's more like planet based. So you do eventually like go back to certain planets. There's like 5 or 6 planets that you bounce back and forth between while you're playing the game. They all have different main quests, but you can only get to certain areas when you learn certain things. Like there's a wall run that you learn, which is kind of funny because that's definitely a Titanfall thing, the wall running. But you learn that as a Jedi, and so you'll come back to that planet and realize, oh, I have to go this way, but now I can wall run, so that's why now I can actually access this area. So it's more just bouncing between different planets that you've already been to, but there are enough planets to make it feel fresh.
Yeah.
But the map sucks, and everybody says that I've looked up about this. The map is brutal, and I'm trying to like go back and forth and try and find little cosmetics. There's different like they hide stuff around the map that makes it so you can find like I don't know what they're called. They're little like orbs that can give you like more max health, more max force, and when you do things like force push and force pull and all these things that you use up force every time. But like trying to find like certain areas and nooks and crannies to like get that stuff, that it's brutal. Like the map is just tough to follow because it's almost like, it's hard to explain. It's a hologram. It looks like a hologram, but it's like the way it separates the floors of the map, like just looks so confusing, and like I can't figure out sometimes where I am and where I need to go or how to get to a certain point. So the map is really tough to follow. So a lot of time I was just sticking to the main quest and not trying to deviate too much because I would just get lost otherwise.
Huh. I wonder if they fixed that in the sequel.
I wonder too. Yeah, I have not seen anything about that yet, but I know there were a lot of complaints about the map, and it also sucks because, like I said earlier, like if I take a wrong turn or if I do something and accidentally like go all the way back to where I was, those enemies respawn and I have to go back through those enemies.
Oh man, I can't stand that. And that's something that's always turned me off about the Souls-like games. It's just, I remember the first time I played Bloodborne, I killed all the enemies in the first level, and then yeah, I turned off the game and turned it back on or something, and they were all back, and I was like, what? Did my game not save? And then I realized that's just how it was, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Because I like made it a point to kill every last enemy.
Yeah.
And then it was all for nothing. Other than, well, I mean, it was for the XP. But yeah, it's just, I think that's unnecessary. It's just like, I love moving forward in games. I don't like where you're just replaying the same stuff over and over again. And that's kind of how that is. And also, it just artificially pads out the game. I wonder how long this campaign would be if you took out all that padding of having to kill enemies that have respawned. Which
I feel like a lot of the time it was designed where you could just keep going forward, and that's what I would try to do if I could.
Yeah.
But it did reward you for like going back around and looking for other things to, I guess, give you more skill points, to give you more life, to give you more force. So because like by the end boss, and I think the Souls aspect it's not as brutal as actual like Bloodborne or Dark Souls or anything like that. The combat's a little more forgiving, but
good.
You can get your butt kicked pretty quick on boss fights. Like the final boss, I think I fought maybe 10 to 15 times because I just couldn't. I had to learn the moves that it was doing. It's still kind of like just like you have to learn the patterns, learn the moves, and then find your openings. But don't get too, don't get too aggressive. You have to make sure like you just hit them a couple times and back up, see what they're going to do next. So it does have that Souls brutalness a bit, but it's a bit more forgiving.
Yeah, and that annoyed me so much in Bloodborne is like you mentioned earlier, you'd fight a boss, you die, and then instead of respawning right then and there to fight the boss again, you would have to go all the way back and then fight through all these enemies to get back to the boss place. And then Bloodborne, I don't know if it was like this in Jedi Fallen Order, but Bloodborne was even worse because not only did you have to come back from whatever spawn point you had and fight through all the enemies to get to the boss again, but you lost all your items. So if you had like 5 health vials that you used during that boss fight and you died, you'd have to grind to get those 5 health vials back. Like it's just oh my man. Yeah, it just added so much time. All I want to do is just respawn back at the boss, give me back my health items and all the items I had at the beginning of the boss battle, and let me just get through them.
A couple things. Thankfully, with Jedi Fallen Order, when you do die, you just go back to the last meditation circle that you were at, and you get everything back. So it's not like you lost the health vials that you used from that boss battle.
That's definitely more forgiving than Dark Souls and Bloodborne and that stuff.
And on the final boss, thankfully, again, I told you I faced him probably 10 times at least. There was a meditation circle right before you walk into the final boss. So it was really, I could just spawn back in, go and face him again. So that made me feel a lot better as well. Because it wasn't like that for every fight.
Hallelujah, man. That's good. That's good knowing that it wasn't as long of a game as I thought it was. Because I had this game, it's in my backlog, but the whole time I've been thinking it's like some 50-hour or even like some 30-hour game, and I'm like, I don't know, man, I don't really want to jump into a Souls-like game. And I get it, some people love those games, but for me, it goes back to what I was saying. It's just like, it's so much going through the same parts over and over again.
Yeah.
And like, I got so many video games to get through, like, that does not appeal to me, that game design.
And I was playing on like the normal mode, but there was like a step back if I wanted to, like maybe like if there's something that was really hard and like I don't think I could ever get through it, I could have gone and changed the difficulty during the game. I was stubborn and I didn't. Yeah. But there is an option to go back a little bit and like make it a little easier if you just want to just burn through it at some point.
Got it. Yeah, I'll check this out at some point, and who knows? This may sound weird coming from me, but maybe I'll just play through it on easy just so I can breeze through it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth doing that because the story's really good. The characters, really good character development, and Cameron Monaghan he's the main character. He is the main character in the game, and he plays one of my favorite characters in the show, Shameless, which is pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's the main character in the first one and Jedi Survivor. So yeah, pretty cool.
That's freaking awesome. You know, a lot of games, they just make up characters, especially like in games of the past. Yes, there were some games that starred like actual actors and they actually used their likeness in games, but I feel like that's way more of a trend today. Like I know a lot of the Call of Duties in the recent years have had big name actors in the campaigns, and a lot of other games are doing that as well. You've got what was that game with the dude from The Walking Dead?
Yeah, with the Kojima's
Death Stranding,
game. Death Stranding, yes.
And like with this game, and yeah, just so many games now. It's just like they're actually recruiting real actors to not only voice the characters, because that's what I'm used to. Like years ago, yeah, it may be some well-known actor doing the voice, but now it's like straight up, we're putting the actors in the games, and that's freaking awesome. I would love.
I mean, look at what we just watched the trailer for, and more Keanu Reeves and Cyberpunk. You know?
And it's cool. It's nice, and I'm sure these people love being in these games. Like that's so cool to be like immortalized in a video game. So digging that. Anyway, anything else on Fallen Order?
No, I mean, I pretty much covered it all. I mean, I highly recommend it just based on the story. I mean, even when I was getting my butt kicked, I still kept just pushing through, and that's, especially with Soulsborne type games, like I don't always do that.
Yeah. Are you going to jump into the sequel after this? Or are you going to wait a while?
At some point. I don't even own it right now, and I don't need to buy any games right now, and I'm sure it'll drop in price, or maybe come to Game Pass just like Jedi Fallen Order did, so I may wait for that.
Yeah, they'll add it to the EA Play, which is part of Game Pass.
Yeah.
So did you play this on Game Pass? What did you...
I played on my Series X via Game Pass. Yeah.
Nice. All right, man. Well, like I said, I just got back from a vacation in Gulf Shores. Yeah. And anytime I go there, I like to hit up... There's one used video game store in the area. And this year, I realized that they opened another one. So now I got two game stores to check out. So I went to the new one. Man, I can't remember the name of it. Wait, I got the receipt right here. It was called Play and Talk. And it was total nerd store. Everything you could think of that appeals to nerds, it's there. They got Pokemon cards, all those trading card stuff. They've got the Funko Pops. They've got just all kinds of memorabilia, action figures, stuffed animals of like anime characters, and used video games and like new video game stuff as well. So totally awesome place. And when I went in there, they also had some like huge life-size statues for sale, and I mean they were like thousands of dollars. They had some character from Dungeons and Dragons, and then I saw near the video game section they had a life-size, Gordon Freeman from Half-Life.
Oh yeah,
and it was so cool. It was just him standing there. He's got the hazmat suit on and the crowbar. Yep. And he was wearing glasses, and if you look really closely at the glasses, where it typically would have the brand name, it said Valve on it.
Oh, that's
cool. I was like, man, if I just had an extra, I don't know, $5,000 or whatever they were selling it for, I'd be like, and a truck, I would take this home with me. It was so cool.
Man, you could have put it right behind you, so every episode, if people can see it.
Yeah, that would be good. Anyway, I got some pictures. I'll put them up. Nice. During editing, so everyone can check them out. But yeah, so I went there. The store was super cool, so organized. And a guy even came up to me and he's like, "You need help finding anything? Just let me know. We got everything cataloged on the computer. I can look it up and see if we have it." The store was just clean, pristine, and I picked up a few things from there.
First, excited to see this.
first I picked up Proteus for the PlayStation 4, which is on Game Pass right now. And they did have some new games, so I paid $30 for this new. And the reason I picked this game up is because it's a shooter, kind of like in the vein of old school shooters like Doom or Quake. There's been a huge surge of those like throwback shooters, and this one supposedly is really good, made by an indie developer, and it's really gory, which, man, I love gory games. But I have a feeling I could have gotten this on Steam, and like I mentioned, I could play it on Game Pass. But I have a feeling this is a game that's going to be hard to come by down the line. So it doesn't seem like a lot of copies were printed for console, and I believe that they even had to go through a Kickstarter campaign to even have the physical copies printed. And I spent $30 on it, which is usually way more than I typically would pay for a game. But it's hard to find this game right now for less than $35. So really, it was a good deal. And again, I didn't want to pass it up now, play it on Game Pass, absolutely love it, and then come back and realize, dude, I should have picked it up when I had a chance for $30, because now, it's whatever.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, so pick that one up. Looking forward to checking that out. The other thing I got from there was, for $5, I picked up the Terminator Dawn of Fate for the original Xbox. And I got a complete copy of this. So I rented this back in the day from, I think, Blockbuster or Hollywood Video. And I thought it was okay then. But then recently, I played it on PlayStation 2. And I got way farther than I did as a kid. I'm like, this is actually a pretty decent game. And I've passed up picking this game up so many times. It's always like $3 to $5. And after playing it recently, I was like, yeah, man, I want to get my own copy, and I want to get on Xbox instead of PS2, since typically the games run a little better on Xbox. And last, from that place, for $7.99, I got this game called Forgotten Realms Demon Stone for the original Xbox. And the reason I picked this up is, I don't know if you remember the Lord of the Rings, the Twin Towers game on GameCube, PlayStation 2, and Xbox. So this is made by the same studio that made that. And it came out after that. So supposedly this is a slightly more polished game and plays even better than the Two Towers did. So I love the Two Towers. If it's even as good as that, then I'm going to like this game. Only caveat is, just like the Two Towers, it's single player only. Which, after they came out with Two Towers, they released The Return of the King, which added it was like basically the same game, but the Return of the King story plus co-op, which made it so much better. Which that I actually played through again some years back, and that was a lot of fun. Except I couldn't beat it without using cheat codes. Cheat codes. Basically memorized the combo to refill your health, and that was the only way I got through that. Anyway, so after checking out Play and Talk and Gulf Shores, I went to that other game store I usually go to, and there's a used bookstore across the street, which I didn't think they used to have used video games, but now, this year, they had a huge sign saying that they also sold used video games. So I went in there, and like most used bookstores, the place is like utter chaos and a complete mess. Like, basically just more stuff than they know what to do with. Just boxes and bins stacked full of stuff. So you could spend hours and hours and hours in there. And usually stores like that, you do get lucky, because you'll find some game hidden in with the CDs or the DVDs or something for real cheap, which is nice. But I didn't want to spend all day there. But yeah, man, sifting through these boxes and boxes of DVDs and CDs, I did come up on a copy of Pure for PlayStation 3. I don't know if you can see the price tag there, but I paid a whopping 99 cents for that.
Love it.
And this is a game created by Disney Interactive, and it's an ATV racing game.
Okay, yeah.
And it got really good reviews. I remember it when it came out. Never played it, but I was like, man, for 99 cents, I will add that to my collection and check it out. So then last but not least, I hit up Action Games and Movies, I think is the main game store I check out when I'm in Gulf Shores. And similarly to the bookstore, that place is a mess. Like, just stuff everywhere. They got used electronics, like all kinds of stuff. Like computer parts, TVs, just all kinds of random electronics, but it's just piled up everywhere. There's DVDs, they sell movies, they sell video games, but it's just chaos. Like, there's not really much rhyme or reason to where stuff is placed, and they're just overflowing with stuff. You look behind the checkout counter, and it's just piles and piles of stuff that they've gotten from trade-ins from the past couple days. There's like a back room area you can see that's employees only, but you can look back there and it's just bins and boxes just stacked to the ceiling. They've got boxes in front of shelves. You just like, you can barely get around the store. They got glass cases with stuff that doesn't really go together, all mixed together. It's overwhelming, and like the OCD neat freak in me just has a heart attack every time I walk in there. And but again, sometimes because of that, you'll find something hidden away, tucked away, a good deal. Typically the prices are way cheaper than any used game store in Atlanta. That's why I like checking it out when I'm in town. But yeah, it just seems like every year they get more and more stuff, and it gets more and more chaotic. And unlike the first game store, I'm like, there's no way they got this stuff cataloged. Like, they probably have no idea what they have in stock. Probably have no grip on their inventory. But they also have a great clearance section, which, again, you have to sift through just bins and bins of DVDs and stuff, and you might get lucky and find some games. I came across Project Sylphid, Arc of Deception for Xbox 360 for 99 cents.
Love it.
And, 50 cents.
Ooh, even better.
So, it's a space shooter for the Xbox 360. I had never heard of it. And it got pretty polarizing reviews on Metacritic. A lot of the professional critics were like, this game is just meh. But a lot of the actual user reviews were like, dude, this game is awesome. Like, what are the professional critics talking about? Like, go grab this. So for 50 cents, I will check it out. And if it's good, it's good. If it's not, man, I mean, 50 cents is practically free. So
drop in the bucket.
And then for 99 cents, I picked up a copy of Two Worlds 2 for Xbox 360.
Oh, yeah.
And
I had a friend in high school who loved that Two World series.
Really? See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I've come across this game, the second one and the first one, so many times when out at these used game stores, and they're always like $2 to $5. And I've passed them up so many times just because I got mediocre reviews. But yeah, for 99 cents, I was like, all right, dude, I'm never going to come across this cheaper than that. So if I'm going to check it out, let me pick that up. So really, you had a friend that spoke highly of Two Worlds?
Yeah, I don't know. He was a very big achievement hunter, and just like he'd really just play the crap out of anything. So, but he enjoyed them, so he stuck with them. So I mean, they must not be that bad. Are they kind of like Skyrim-esque or like Elder Scrolls?
Yeah,
type?
I think they're like the cheaper knockoff version of the Elder Scrolls games.
Which I think people were, and especially my friend was just craving those at the time after beating the whatever Skyrim or whatever one was, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls, whatever. Yeah, so he's probably just craving another one of those genres and was really into the Two Worlds.
Gotcha. I think they're available on Steam, and again, they're probably like $2 to $3 when they go on sale.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the Steam or see what the Steam review is.
Yeah, let's check that out. Let's see here. Two Worlds Steam.
All right.
There's the Two Worlds Epic Edition on Steam. I'm assuming that has all the DLC. Hey, it has a very positive recent reviews, mostly positive on all reviews, and right now it's on sale for $2.50.
All
for the
right.
first game. So
The one that just says Two Worlds 2 HD has mixed reviews, but maybe that could just be because you should get the other edition.
what the heck? It's not even letting me open it. So you said Two Worlds 2
There's Two Worlds
HD.
2 HD.
Okay.
Oh wait, this is just
that's funny they throw
Two Worlds.
HD in the title. Yeah, you're right. This one has mixed reviews, and this one is on sale right now for $4.99. Dang, maybe. Wonder why. I don't know. When I got this one, I saw it was the sequel, and I assumed that the sequel would probably be the better of the two, but maybe not.
Maybe not.
Anyway, I'll check it out. Yeah, just kind of been curious about that series. Anyway, next, for 99 cents, again, I got True Crime Streets of LA.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which I did play on the original Xbox, which I did play this when it first came out and beat it on the original Xbox. And I wasn't in love with it because I think I was really expecting it to be as good as Grand Theft Auto, because that's kind of how they were promoting it, that it's going to be better, it's going to be like Grand Theft Auto but better, which it was not, but it was worth a rental and worth a playthrough. And I own a copy on PlayStation 2, but apparently typically I'll play PS2 games through emulation, so I can knock up the resolution to something better than PS2's native resolution. But apparently this doesn't run very well on PS2's emulator. So for 99 cents, I was like, I'll pick up an Xbox copy because it's one of the few original Xbox games, according to the back, that supports, probably can't even see this, it's blurry, but anyway, it says it supports 720p on the original Xbox, which not very many games on the OG Xbox supported that high resolution. So at least it'll look decent if I ever go back and play it. But for 99 cents, whatever.
Exactly.
And last but not least, for $10.99, I picked up The Lord of the Rings War in the North. And got a complete copy. I've had my eye out for this game for a couple reasons. One, I'm pretty sure this game has been discontinued, delisted from all the digital platforms. Let me see. Lord of the Rings, War in the North. Steam. Could be wrong. Let's see. Yes, it does look like it has been delisted. Oh, man. All right, let's see what a key cost is going for on the secondary market.
I was just about to ask.
Ooh, don't even want to know. About $38. Okay, not too crazy.
Okay.
But anyway, anytime a game has been delisted from digital storefronts, it was delisted on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 marketplace on December 2018, and it was delisted from Steam on February 13th, 2019.
Okay.
Most likely delisted
Hiked yet?
due to expired license of the Lord of the Rings properties.
Sure.
So anyway, at the time it got just mediocre reviews, but a lot of people, a lot of user reviews actually rate it pretty high, and it's local co-op, couch co-op. I don't know, man, maybe this Christmas when we hang out, go back home, we could crank through this co-op.
Yeah, I love me a good Lord of the Rings property, absolutely.
Yeah, so I've heard the co-op is really fun on this. So yeah, man, out of all of them, I think this and Proteus are the two pickups I was most excited about.
Nice.
But anyway, I heard you picked up something as well. Something cost a little more than 99 cents, but what you got going on?
Just a little bit. Yeah, I was in the market for a new TV. It was either a gaming laptop or a TV. I decided to go with the TV. I have a pretty decent gaming TV that I've been playing on, but I really wanted one of these LG OLEDs. And so I committed. I found a good deal. I think it's retailed. I got the 65-inch one, the LG OLED C2. They have the I think there's one newer one currently, but I found this one on clearance with Woot, which is the Amazon clearance site. So it's fulfilled through Amazon. Go ahead.
What is this site?
It's Woot, WOOT.
Woot.com?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So what is this, just like an aggregate site of all the stuff that's on clearance on Amazon?
Basically, I think, yeah. They always have some deals on random stuff. Like right now, looks like they have an Asus gaming laptop on sale. But, yeah, I haven't been super familiar with it, but I recently have bought a few things, and thank you to the fellow Slick Deals folks out there. They did show me this TV deal on there, and also thanks to my friend Kyle, who showed me it before the Slick Deals people. He actually sent me a text about this deal, so I kept seeing that it was available and committed, because compared to what is on the LG site and what is on Woot, I think I saved probably around $400, almost $500 maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I paid $1,300 for it, which for a 65-inch OLED, I thought it was too good a deal to pass up.
Yeah, that is good. Whoa, I see they have an 83-inch as well. Man, that's a massive
Yeah, that would be a little overkill if I try to move that, if I ever move again. So I think 65 is as high as I go for now.
Okay, so what was the size of the TV that you replaced with this TV?
I had a 55-inch.
Okay.
So I replaced 55 to 65, so not like a huge difference, but definitely noticeable. When I have just booted it up, I got it mounted on Friday and got a little time to play some games with it and just check out some stuff. There's so many settings nowadays with like TVs and whatnot, so I've been trying to go through those and just make it so it's the best looking that it can be. MLB The Show I was unimpressed by their HDR. It made things look really dark or too dark, but then so I was kind of disappointed. But then I launched Resident Evil 3 Remake, because it is the next game that I'm going to play, and holy crap. It actually lets you adjust like in game. It gives you options for their HDR sliders and like all that stuff, so you can kind of tailor it to what your TV is. So I did that and I launched into that, and holy crap, like Raccoon City looks amazing, and it like in the cutscenes are just beautiful. Like I was like, all right, this is why I got this TV. Like this is amazing. Because like the colors in the background, like because like Raccoon City is like it's at night, obviously at the start of Resident Evil 3, and you're kind of maneuvering through it, trying to escape from Nemesis at the beginning, and I could just see like all the police like cars behind me, like the blue and reds were like just popping. Like I'm like, holy crap! Like people keep saying these LG OLEDs are really good, and like this is like me playing that game, it really like showed like yeah. This is good.
Nice. What brand was your old TV?
It was Samsung, and it was a great TV. I had it for probably 8-9 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
Still running like Xbox Series X games, like 60 frames and like 4K. Had HDR as well. Like it was a great TV. But just technology's just been so much more up to date this past, I mean, it's been almost 10 years since I bought that TV. So
yeah.
I was ready for an upgrade, and because I wanted to see like where technology has come with TVs, and man, yeah, it's improved.
Yeah. Anything like the variable refresh rates and stuff, is the LG have any of those technologies built in?
Yes, it does. It's got you can do, what is it? The trying to talk. It's like got like a 0.1 millisecond response time. It's got, I mean, everything you could actually like make it your like PC monitor, and it would like really like operate well as a PC monitor as well. It's got the, what's the graphics card settings? The GeForce.
Isn't it like G-Sync or something? Or
G-Sync, yeah, it is a G-Sync capable. It's got like some like AMD FreeSync stuff too.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the stuff that yeah.
You can use Dolby Vision with it. Is compatible with the Xbox Series X. I've not messed around with that. I've heard mixed things about that, but it is an option. Yeah, you can do 120 frames a second with any capable games on the Series X, or if you use it as a PC with a PC, you could do 120 frames. So yeah, really, I mean, it's amazing. It's got all the bells and whistles, and I won't upgrade for another 10 years probably.
Nice. Yeah, OLEDs are beautiful, man. That's
yeah.
It's, and TVs, I mean, it's awesome that even like mediocre TVs still look amazing today. And then there's these crazy like super OLED 8K TVs that are overkill and cost like $9,000, which to me is too much. Like I look at those in the store,
you can't tell a difference.
Yeah, I'm looking at that like side by side in the stores, and I'm just like, dude, like this is not $6,000 better of a TV to me than just like one of these LG OLEDs. But that's awesome, man. Yeah, I've got to get a new TV at some point for the basement. We have no TV down here, and I definitely want to go all out. But
yeah, I really think these for gaming, they're the best bang for your buck, really. I mean, I did a lot of I always do a lot of research when I'm making these big purchases, and everybody just kept going the LG OLED. Like he's like, there's a newer version. I think it's the S2 now. That's like the newest LG OLED, but they're like, you can just, the C2 is still great. It's perfect. Like you don't need to go with the newest model.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even the LG I have up in my bedroom, it was quote unquote last year's model, and it was on clearance. But it was amazing, and oftentimes these TVs... So I bought that TV. I don't know if I've told this story before, but I liked it so much, I wanted the exact same TV in my office. So I'm like, okay, dude, at the time I paid like $350 for it or something. It was like a 50-inch LG TV. It looks amazing, 4K. And I was like, if I bought this in 2017 for $350, it's got to be even cheaper now in 2021 or whenever I was looking for a TV for the office. But when I got on Amazon, surprisingly, it was like over $1,000 or something crazy. I'm just like, although Amazon's not good to go off of. Like, I've seen like shampoo on Amazon for $50, like the stuff you just get at Kroger for $3. Like sometimes the prices can get kind of wonky on there. But anyway,
sometimes people are selling like third party on there too, and they can just market whatever they want.
Yes, there's just some craziness going on there. So anyway, I was like, oh, well, that's a bummer. I couldn't find the same one online for a reasonable price. And I ended up going to a pawn shop and finding the exact same TV, that, lo and behold, the one I was looking for anyway, except the 1 year newer model. And I think I paid like $120 for it. So I got a 50-inch LG 4K 120 hertz TV, the exact one I wanted. And the reason I wanted the specific one, the same one, because I could have gotten a newer TV for, could have gone a newer TV, but this one has all of the inputs I want. Like I specifically want component on the TV as well, so I can plug up older consoles to it.
Okay, yeah.
So that was something I was looking for. So yeah, I got the TV for like $120, the 1 year newer model, and I'm telling you, the 1 year newer model, the only difference between the previous year's model was the remote. Everything else was identical. I'm like, it looks the exact same. Like they literally just repackaged the same TV with a new remote and called it the next year's model. So, and that's the thing with these TV technologies, like they're not making leaps and bounds every year. So if you go with last year's model, you're going to save a lot. Hell, if you go with the model from 2 to 3 years ago, you're going to save a significant amount of money, and it's going to be quite comparable, if not identical, to the current model.
Yep.
But yeah, awesome news.
Yeah, excited to play some games on it. I really am. I mean, I was blown away by just the Resident Evil 3 remake, so I'm sure, a lot of other stuff is fantastic as well.
Cool, man. Yeah, good TV makes all the difference. And
yeah, definitely.
I'll take your word for it. You already did all the research. When I finally get a TV down here, I may just save myself some time and get the same one. And then maybe by then, because that'll probably be within the next year or something, maybe it'll be even cheaper.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah. Cool, man. Awesome. Glad you got it set up. So what'd you do with the old TV? Did you put it in your bedroom?
No, I think I'm going to sell it. I think I'm going to try and sell it on the Facebook Marketplace that we've had a lot of trouble with. So
yeah,
I will keep people updated on that one to see if we actually can sell it. But yeah, I tried for my bedroom, but it's too big to make it make sense in my bedroom. So it's better if I just sell it for a few $100s and give it to somebody else. It's still a great TV, so somebody else can enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean that is what's pretty awesome, man. Yeah, even TVs from 10 years ago look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. I think that's all we had to cover. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, glad to be back. Glad to keep churning, playing games and recording more content for everyone. I'm excited to play some more stuff on the TV.
Yeah. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. You can find all our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our other social media handles are...
Yep, you can find us at our Twitter is at The Hills Are Silent or at Hills Are Silent. I don't have this in front of me, so I'm stumbling on this one. Our YouTube is at The Hills Are Silent. Instagram is Instagram /Hills Are Silent. Our Gmail for your questions, comments, anything, game recommendations, we would love to hear from you, is hillsarsilent@gmail.com. TikTok, I did not forget that. Hills Are Silent Podcast, I think. At Hills Are Silent Podcast. We'll get you the next episode.
It'll be on the screen.
It's all down here. Yeah,
just check below.
Bye, everyone.